Out of respect for the presentations you're about to see or hear, please silence your cell phones. Each speaker is given a maximum of 18 minutes to present. If a speaker exceeds those 18 minutes, their microphone will be switched off in accordance with the provisions of TEDx. We will spend as few as 8 minutes between speakers, but if one speaker concludes early, we'll stay on the schedule. So there should be breaks throughout the day that you can enjoy the campus and visit other items of interest in between speakers, but we are thankful that you're here. And now allow me to introduce our second presenter. Our second presenter today is Meagan Hill. For everyone in the recital hall and online especially, all 90 of you at USI Consultants, an engineering firm in Indianapolis, let me introduce you to an extraordinary individual who is breaking barriers and carving out a path for herself in the world of STEM. As a first-generation college and transfer student, Meagan is a true pioneer, having returned to academia after a successful career in sales and marketing. Currently pursuing her Bachelor of Science in Materials Science and Engineering at UC Riverside, Meagan has already made a name for herself as a Great Minds in STEM scholar and National Science Foundation funded undergraduate researcher. She specializes in 2D material thin films, a cutting-edge area of research that has enormous potential for technological innovation. She's a proud woman in STEM. She's passionate about advocating for underrepresented minorities in the field. She is also an entrepreneur with a keen eye for identifying new opportunities and bringing them to fruition. Fall 2023 will see Meagan continue her academic journey as a graduate student in the PhD program for Material Science Engineering at UC Irvine. Her goal is to become a materials scientist and engineer, shattering the glass ceilings that have traditionally limited women and minorities in the field. But Meagan's ambitions don't stop there. She is also an aspiring astronomer, driven by a deep fascination with the mysteries of the universe. With her bravery, grit, caring nature, and empathy, Meagan is a force to be reckoned with, inspiring others to pursue their passions and make their mark on the world. Meagan is set to discuss women in STEM. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Meagan Hill.
So growing up, I was always asking questions. I always wanted to know how things worked and why. I think why was my favorite question, so my parents would ask me to do something, I'd be like, why? And I didn't like that too much. But I just wanted to know, I wanted to understand things. I wasn't trying to challenge authority. I just really wanted to know the ins and outs of everything. I was always so curious. I was always reading books. I had tons of toys. I had Barbies, I had dolls. But I grew bored of those. I actually grew very bored. And I wanted to do something else. I always loved science. I was always staring at the sky. I used to use my telescope and stare at the moon. There's nothing interesting about the moon. It's just like a crater that you can stare at it all night long with my telescope, just blown away at that even existing, trying to comprehend it. Well, once I got bored with my dolls and my books, I decided I wanted to play with my brother's toys. They had these toys called Connects, which are like these different circular pieces and sticks that you could put together and make these amazing structures, big and small. On the box, there was this picture of a Ferris wheel. And I just remember thinking, I can do that. Because I see where everything needs to go. And I'm pretty sure I could do that. So one day, I went in there, and I started putting the Connects together and trying to make this Ferris wheel. And I felt like I was there for hours and hours. And I just didn't give up. And finished it. And it ended up being 3 feet tall. And Dad walked in and he's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "It's a Ferris wheel. You like it?" He's just shocked. And I mean, I would be shocked, but he was, because it was something that I had done. So I lost interest as I got older. I became more and more influenced by the world around me, how women are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be all nerdy and scientific and playing with connects. They're supposed to wear nail polish and baby mom and have cute clothes. I had an older sister, so the influence was a lot heavier. So I wanted to be just like her. She was so cool. And I was living my life for everyone else, essentially. I was living how everybody else wanted me to be. Pretty little girl, long hair, and curls, and all these things. Once I got to about 21, when I was like an adult, like I felt like I was an adult at the time, I realized I wanted to study STEM, I wanted to study science. Like, I still love those things. I still catch myself staring at the moon when I park my car. And I decided I was going to go back to school, start my classes, and I did. And I didn't know it was going to be as difficult of a journey as it has been, but I was ready for it. I knew the statistics. I know that women are underrepresented in STEM fields. I know it's important to encourage and celebrate diversity in these industries, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to lead it. Well, it was a very difficult road, a very long and difficult road, but despite the challenges that I faced, almost, 15 years of classes, picking up, loading my dogs and my little SUV up, moving to California to pursue engineering, losing a sibling, surviving in California is actually really hard. Going to community college, transferring to university, and not to mention I'm a returning student, so I'm a lot older than them, so that's its own deal. And now I can proudly say, in a couple of months, after all that time, I'll be receiving my bachelor's in material science engineering. Finally. So when I was first approached to do this, I was so excited. I was beyond excited. And I just wanted to impact so many people. I had been through so much, so many barriers. I mean, I've been just run through the mud. Anything you could think of. I've been homeless, starving, failing my classes, having to figure out how to study. That was an interesting one. Believe it or not, you actually have to figure out how to study, what works best for you. So all those things, it was really difficult for me, to get through all that. So as excited as I was, I started thinking, well, wait a second, I'm not an engineer yet. Why do they want me? Why me? What have I done? I haven't published anything yet, technically. I'm not a researcher, officially. I'm not a doctor yet. I started doubting. I started doubting myself. I started doubting my accomplishments. I started feeling like an imposter. Like it didn't belong. That's sort of what prompted me to discuss not only my experience today as a woman in STEM, but my battle with imposter syndrome. Because it's something that I've dealt with for years. And it's something that anybody can experience, male or female. Whether you're just starting out in school or you're a CEO, anybody can experience it. I thought, man, I'm experiencing it right now. What a perfect opportunity to discuss it. And of course, what you can do to help those around you. So, that being said, I would like to properly introduce myself. My name is Meagan Hill. I was born and raised in Texas. I'm a first-generation transfer student. I'm an advocate for minorities in STEM. I'm a mentor. I'm a leader. And I'm a future scientist and engineer. And I'm proud to be a woman in STEM. So I had a conversation with my professor last quarter, right after our final. It was a very difficult class. And I was just talking to her about it. I told her, oh, it was really hard, but I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed this class. It really made me think. I had to really learn this material. And she said, oh, thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. I really like knowing what the students think and how they feel. I told her, there's only like 5 or 6 girls in this class. How crazy is that? A class of like 60. She said, yeah, I teach this class every year. Every single year, there's only a few girls, but you want to know something funny? They're always, almost all of them are always in the upper quartile. And I said, well, yeah, because we have to give 100% all the time. All the time. And that's the minimum. That's the baseline. And then I got me thinking, man, that's so exhausting. Can you imagine giving 100% all the time? Think of something mediocre. Like maybe a bowl of cereal. Just make that at 100%. Okay, so we're gonna make a bowl of cereal. All right, I gotta run to the cupboard. I need to get a bowl. It's gotta be circular. I need a matching spoon. I gotta make sure this is clean. No chips, no cracks. I'm already tired of making this bowl of cereal, and I haven't even poured the cereal yet. It is exhausting giving 100% all the time. And it makes sense that you would begin to lose confidence in yourself and doubt yourself when you're trying to put 100% towards something as minimal as that. But imagine doing that, like me last quarter, 10 hours a day. That's how long I was in school for. Constantly giving 100%. It's easy for imposter syndrome to set in when you start having those doubts and you're only reaching the minimum, but putting in your best. It's something that I have experienced myself very many times. And I just know how easy it is to lose hope and confidence in yourself. At the end of that conversation with my professor, she said something to me that it really stuck. And it made me feel so hopeful for my future. She told me, she said, Meagan, you have my email. We need to stick together. There's not very many of us in STEM. If you ever need anything, email me. I don't care if it's in 6 months, if it's in a year, if it's in 10 years, it doesn't matter. Just email me. I will be here for you. Whatever you need, just let me know. And the impact that had on me, I walked away thinking, I was in tears actually, I didn't want to see me cry, but knowing that somebody was making themselves available to be my support system like that. I have a support system, but she's a professor in academia, like that's someone that I can go to when I have questions about anything that can bring me up when I'm in my darkest time. And it just felt great. So I want everyone to close their eyes. So close your eyes. Let's do this one. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think about someone who has impacted you. Someone who's inspired you. You wouldn't be sitting in this chair today if it wasn't for them. Maybe it's a parent, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's not a person at all. Just someone. Now open your eyes. Did you think one person or many? Lucky. There are over 7 billion people in the world, and it just takes one person to make that kind of an impact in someone's life. one person to keep someone on their road to success so they can complete their journey. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for some of those people. I wouldn't have any of my accomplishments today. I had hard work and determination, grit, all of those things. Bravery. But I had my support system. I had my people that I could go to when I just felt like I was nothing. So I've experienced that recently, where I had to go to someone because I was not feeling confident in myself. And it was 5 days ago, actually, very recent. Had the worst case of imposter syndrome. I was trying to prep for this, and I had everything ready, but I just wasn't feeling it myself. And I was talking to my best friend, my partner. I had my little meltdown. I can't do this. I'm not an engineer. I'm not good enough. How can I expect anyone to believe in me and my accomplishments if I don't believe in them myself? So I'm in tears at this point. And he looks at me, the biggest smile you have ever seen. This guy does not walk around grinning all day. He's actually a little grumpy and very kind. He's always very honest with me, which is what I love. Had the biggest grin on his face, and I'm in tears. And I'm like, what's so funny? And he goes, Meagan, you are a straight A student. You went to a conference to present your research for practice, and you won second place overall. You got into graduate school for a PhD in material science engineering at your dream school. I mean, you went to another conference 2 weeks later, spoke to SpaceX for practice, got called back for 4 interviews, nailed it, and got the internship. Are you kidding me? And I was just like, you're right. Okay, maybe not always. Last quarter I felt like I was. But he was right. He was so right. How could I forget all of that? I mean, you think like, that happened to me, I wouldn't forget about any of that. But I did. I fell into the darkest part I could think of. And I needed help to me out. And he reminded me of who I was. He gave me the confidence that I had once had a few hours before that, and he gave it back to me. It just took one person, and it was him. It got me thinking about how I felt, too, during those moments. So, as he was mentioning them, I was thinking about how nervous I was when I was presenting, but then how great I felt when I won, and I was, wow, I went through all these challenges, and this was so hard, I was so nervous, and then it's like getting to see the fruits of your labor and getting rewarded for it. It was just, it felt so great. But that's what I had forgotten. So anyone can make a difference in the lives, girls, young women, adult women, in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So what can you do? You can be a positive influence. You can encourage. You can be a beacon of light, provide hope in someone's darkest time. Pick them up when they fall. And girls, young women, adult women, you can do anything you set your mind to. Build your support system. Imposter syndrome is a real thing, and it's very difficult to battle on your own, but you don't have to. Find those people that can bring you up. Surround yourself with people who shine light in your darkest hours of uncertainty. And remember, you got this.